This video is for anybody who has some sort of knowing within themselves that they want to do something greater. They have a higher purpose, but they're not quite sure what it is, what to do, how to go about doing it, and just where to start, pretty much. So in this video, we're going to talk about making the shift. So sit tight. Welcome back to another video. I'm Jen Palco. We're going to talk about making a shift from you being in this place of knowing that you want to do something greater, but it's very vague, to actually getting there. How do you go from here to here if you have no clue what's in the middle? So first of all, it's recognizing that you have the knowing. You know somewhere is just irking you. You have no idea like what it is or what's going on with yourself, but you have some sort of knowing within you, some little voice within you that's telling you, it's like whispering in your ear. It's like you need to do something more with your life. So if this sounds like you and you want to do something more, you want to do something for the greater good, something amazing for yourself, really tap into that highest version of yourself, but you have no idea how to get there or even what to do. Why does this happen, first of all? Why does this happen for people? I went through this too. I'm still going through it. It's like I have a knowing in my heart that I want to do something great. I want to do something for the greater good, to help. But it's all those little pieces in between of what it actually is or what that actually looks like that prevents us from doing it or from moving further, because we're stuck in a place of fear. We're stuck in just not knowing which direction to take. So how do you do it? How do you make the shift? So first, it's recognizing that why you feel like you can't take action, why you can't put one foot in front of the other. And usually it's because fear-based. So you either don't know what to do, you're scared of failing, you're scared of doing something, you don't know how. You know, it's all these little details that we always try to figure everything out in our lives. And we always try to figure out the who and the what and the how and the why and everything before we actually take our first step. It's like we're always trying to figure it out 10 years in advance without actually just putting one foot in front of the other and kind of moving in the direction of what that little voice inside of us, that little knowing inside of us that tells us that we need to be doing, or that we should do something, or that you need to be doing something for the greater good. That little voice within you, you need to learn to listen to that little voice instead of listening to the ego all the time, because the ego is going to try and plan everything out. The linear part of you, the logical part of you is going to try and plan everything out and figure out all the who's and the what'sies and the whys and the this and the that and that, and it's going to drive you crazy, and you're not going to take any sort of step. You're going to remain stagnant and just still, because the fear, and you're just going to be burdened and overwhelmed with everything. So you can't be overwhelmed, first of all. So how do you listen to that little voice inside of you? How do you listen to it? You have to be aware. You have to be present. You know, the only moment we have is the present moment right now. And you know, our brains cannot comprehend that everything happens all at once, because we would not be able to function. You know, we know that 6 a.m., like the alarm goes off and I get my coffee and I'm reading the newspaper, and, you know, 12 o'clock noon, my body says it's time to eat. You know, part of that's your body's circadian rhythm too, right? It's telling you when to do things, but you go by the clock. You go by, you know, oh, I have to go to work now, and then I'm coming home, and then I know at 7 o'clock at night the news comes on again, or the show I like to watch on Netflix, and, you know, we follow this time cycle. But you know, and it rules our life. It helps us function in life. But that is how our brain works, you know. But if you are to kind of strip off the layers of your body, what's left? What's left is your soul, your being, your consciousness. So we all have an awareness, a consciousness. And, you know, when we die, we get a little morbid here. When we die, like our physical bodies die, but what is that part of us that remains? Do you think that our awareness dies, our consciousness dies? Does that die? What brought us to life in the first place, really? Let's get a little esoteric here. Before you come into this world, your physical body, what are you? You energy, your consciousness, you're an awareness. And when you die, when you leave, the physical body is gone, but do you think you are gone? Do you think that consciousness, that awareness is gone? I don't think it is. I don't believe it is, no. And a lot of scientists, quantum physics has shown that, you have this awareness, this consciousness, and this is like a universal consciousness that we all share. And, we think of ourselves in these bodies. So that little voice, that little knowing inside of you, I know I went way off on a tangent, kind of like out there in space, but let me bring you back. Let me bring you back into you, into your body. And, that little voice, that's that awareness, that's consciousness. That's your heart, that's your knowing, okay? So that is like your greater purpose. Everything else is just like this dense body, okay? And you're living in this body, in this meat suit, that I like to say. And so, when you feel like you have a greater good, a knowing, you just have a knowing. You don't know what it is, you don't know where it is, you don't know how to find it. That is you telling you. That is you. That is actually you, because you're stripped off all the layers, and that knowing inside of you is kind of pulling at you that you need to do something. So you should follow that. And how you follow that is by not letting yourself be overwhelmed or burdened by all the stuff, all the mind chatter, all the overthinking for yourself, and taking it one thing at a time. Going with your intuition, going with asking yourself, asking your higher self, okay? When you're thinking about doing something and you have no idea what it is, what direction to take, start in any direction, anything, any direction, and see how that feels. If it doesn't feel good, then take a step back and then go in another direction. If that doesn't feel good, then take a step back or take a detour to another direction. And then when something starts feeling right or good, and you're tapping into that inner voice inside of you, okay, that awareness, that consciousness, and it's telling you, you move a little over here, and it's kind of like, yeah, that feels kind of good. And then you move a little bit more over here, and more over here, until you're out of the picture, and it's like, hey. So that's kind of the way to do it. We can't predict everything. I mean, you can plan stuff out, but you don't know if that's going to actually make you happy. See, we think in terms of, we're always thinking in terms of comparison. So when we're trying to move in a direction and we think, okay, I want this, or I want to have this career, or I want this kind of lifestyle, or I want this kind of relationship, that's always based off of either something we've had in the past or something that somebody else has. But you've seen, I mean, how many marriages end in divorce, okay? You think it's the perfect marriage, the perfect person. You think it's the perfect job, and then you get there and it's terrible after 3 months. You do not know. You do not know. You can try and plan it out, but you do not know that if that is right for you, if that is in alignment with you, which is why you have to take little steps in each direction and listen to yourself. Listen to that knowing inside of you, okay? Your higher self, whatever you want to call it, and because it's usually right. But just know if you take a step in the wrong direction and it doesn't feel good and you do it anyway, then you are going to redirect yourself back somewhere else. Unless you really, really deny yourself that, you really cancel out that inner voice inside of you that's telling you to keep, you have a knowing to keep going, but you keep going this way. It's like the knowing is pointing you this way, yet you keep going this way. And a lot of us do this because we don't want to listen to actually our intuition. We want to listen to just our heads, or we want to listen to friends and family and society and things that will pull us away from our natural state, okay? So you're going to pull us away and you're going to go in the wrong direction for you. But you're going to later learn that it was the wrong direction. So if you want to save yourself some time, then start listening to that intuitive side of yourself. Start listening to that inner voice, and it'll save you a hell of a lot of time, other than going all the way over here, and then you're waiting, you're going, you're struggling until you're pulled back. Because eventually you're going to be pulled back. You are. It might take years, it may take centuries, it may take, well, not centuries, but you know what I mean. It may take a long time for you to be pulled back. But save yourself some time and actually get to the present moment and learn to listen to that knowing inside of you. And any direction that you take, again, listen, and it'll help you out in life. So that is my 2 cents on it. Yeah, that's all I got. So that's it for today, guys. If you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel below. I put out a video every single morning. And other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.